to ceramides, ask your representative. And again, if you'd like to personally read some of the reviews or some of the information or some of the overviews, you can always check them out on hsn.com. Talking of connecting with Andrew, wordsonwellness.com is the place to be to read Andrew's latest blogs and to connect with him even more.
And I posted I actually posted a blog this time around. It's a video blog. And what I talked about was something that I think people have not a significant appreciation for. That when you read a product and it says fragrance or parfum, it's parfum it looks like, but it's parfum, it's a French word. That's a catch-all that doesn't mean, if it's a natural essential oil, that's great. A natural essential oil, that's Mother Nature, smells from Mother Nature. Fragrance or parfum, what that's going to mean is it's got all sorts of petrochemicals in it, and if you smell something, it's part of your body. So you're basically consuming it the moment you smell it, and in our homes we are inundated with fragrance, and it's just something I discussed in that blog, and I'm not the only one that's raising concerns and issues about this. So to the extent we can get detergents and fabric softeners, which fabric softeners just in and of themselves, chemicals that affect the characteristics, sort of lubricants for the surface of fabric. These are not things we want in proximity of our body, that we need to be more conscious of the things we're doing with our laundry because we live among those chemicals. And the most important thing we could do is eliminate those synthetic fabric softeners and all those synthetic fragrance parfum, because they have thousands and thousands of different chemicals in them that don't have to be disclosed. So just a good blog to listen to.
There's just certain things, you know, that Andrew will talk about that we've often discussed that can help improve the quality of our lives. Just little things, and it's all to do with being pure. Now, we're going to turn our attention to legs. Legs, the appearance of legs, the feeling of our legs. A lot of people will never ever be without this product.
This is, if you looked at the reviews on this product, this is often referred to as that desert island product. Yep. It's referred to as a miracle in a bottle. Just a long list of expressions that praise it at length. And I encourage you to read the reviews. It's a product that didn't surprise me at all, because this product was something I originally discovered out of Europe, and we're going back over 20 years. To my knowledge, we were the first company to bring this ingredient, the key ingredient in this formula, diosmin, over to the United States. In Europe, it's recommended by physicians, not because it's a drug and it's not natural, but because it's regulated differently based upon the claims they make. We don't make drug claims for this. Right. This is simply a product that supports probably the most challenged circulation in the human body, which is our lower extremities. We see those tissues enlarge, we see the blood vessels enlarge, we see them swell, we see the discomfort or feel the discomfort it causes. It's just part of, we think, part of growing old, part of the human experience. But it isn't. It doesn't have to be. And the research I saw on this product over 20 years ago was incredibly compelling, exciting, and the research has only continued to get better and better and better. All we've done is increase the potency of the product and added other ingredients that have similar benefits, none quite at the level of the diosmin, but our butcher's broom extract is very, very close. So this is a product that delivers an opportunity that most people think does not exist, and it truly does exist, and the reviews are worth reading, because at the end of the day, or over the last few years, if your feet, ankles, and calves are bigger than they were, the blood vessels bigger than they were, the comfort level different than it was, you need to give this a try. You'll be astounded, and you don't have to believe me, money back guarantee, but more importantly, read the reviews. Those reviews, I believe on this product, it's about 95% positive reviews. Yep. And I think about 85% 5-star reviews.
Correct. It is.
So, fascinating.
It's a humongous amount of, I suppose, feedback that really supports everything that's being said. And maybe you have a hard job where you're on your feet all day long, or you're a mum running around after the kids all day long, and your feet are tired, and your legs do feel heavy, and you do feel worn. This is a support mechanism, I suppose, in every sense. So if you'd like to try it, I mean, Andrew, how soon would we expect to see results with something like this?
Oh, you'll find dozens of reviews that talk about seeing the results in 1 or 2 or 3 days. That even if someone had stopped taking the product and they noticed everything being undone, that they'll start taking it again, and once again they notice it in 1 or 2 or 3 days. Obviously 30 days in that case is an abundance of time, just plenty of time to see a difference. And it's one of those products that I know from having spoken to people who rave about it now, that who will stop me on the street. They didn't believe it. They watched me talk about it on air for years and years and years, never thinking that this can make a difference for them. Other people were different. This wouldn't make a difference for them. But for the reviews you'll see about people talking about cankles, people talking about the enlargement of their blood vessels, even people talking about hemorrhoids. Because what we have to remember, hemorrhoids, and this is not a cure or a treatment for hemorrhoids, but we have to understand, again, an enlargement of blood vessels. And if you're going to be delivering something to your body that promotes and supports the health of those blood vessels, the integrity of those blood vessel walls, then you have an opportunity to make an incredible difference. Again, the lower part of our body, those blood vessels are challenged. It helps the circulation throughout our body, but gravity holds fluid down there. Our heart has to keep pumping fluid down there. Why? It has to deliver oxygen and nutrients to those tissues. And in so doing, what does it do? It's basically, imagine it's like a bicycle pump when I'm pumping up my bicycle tire. You put pressure, you put air into that bicycle tire, it enlarges. So when your heart is pumping fluid down there, what is it doing? It's enlarging those blood vessels. It's pumping more fluid down there. And as we get older, those blood vessels, the walls, the integrity of those walls isn't what it used to be. Fluid leaks out. That's the swelling we notice at the end of the day in our feet, ankles, and calves. That's why we naturally want to elevate our feet. It's basically science. We want to take gravity out of the equation. But there's another thing you can do other than taking gravity out of the equation. You can make the walls of those blood vessels support the health and integrity of those walls of those blood vessels, and in so doing, those blood vessels won't enlarge as much. Their being visible changes, and then the swelling, because of fluid leaking out, that diminishes as well. And so you get to effectively turn back the clock on the appearance and health of the blood vessels and the appearance and health of your lower extremities, your legs, feet, ankles, and calves.
We're going to go to the phones and say good evening to Sheila in Florida. Sheila, welcome to the Monday Night Show. Sheila, you're on air with Andrew.
Hi,
Adam, Sheila. Are you there?
Hi, Andrew. I'm so privileged to talk to you this evening. My question is, and I take many of your vitamins, and I have for 20 years. I don't think I've ever missed a show, whether I take what's on the air or not. But I just ordered a small marine collagen. I have a year's supply, but just in case I have a backup. But my question is to you, Andrew. I'm not sure when to take certain vitamins at certain times. I hear Colleen say she takes certain ones in the morning, certain in the afternoon, certain in the evening. I seem to take like 17 vitamins in the morning when I'm having a little breakfast before I'm off for the day. I take calcium at night, but if you could ever do a blog or something to tell us, not written in stone, but your best, advice, like to take this in the morning, this in the afternoon, and this at night. I would appreciate that. I mean, I know what you say, I listen to you, and I believe everything you tell me, and circulation of vein is one of my favorite, and you're right, it is to see the difference. But if you could do that, I would appreciate it.
In fact, I'll make sure, if I haven't done it, I'll do it again, but I think we might have, and I'll have them look. I think I might have done just that, somehow a video posting somewhere, and it might be on hsn.com, it might be on our website, but I think I did do that. And to just answer that question quickly, other than things like Cholesterol or Choco Nuvo, which you take with a meal, so you get to lower the cholesterol from that meal, what I basically say is you take your vitamins when it works best for you. One of the funny things you just said, you take about 17 products in the morning. If that isn't a testament for how mild our products are, that you could take 17 vitamins with, as you said, a little bit of breakfast, it's a testament to how mild they are. But we'll find that video, and if we can't find it, I promise you I'll record one, because that's an incredibly important question that, as you said, many people love to take calcium at night because it tends to be a soothing, relaxing mineral, so that's a great idea. The other products can be taken virtually any time. The only thing I wouldn't take at the end of the day is our Coffee Secure, because it could have a little caffeine. Even our green tea extract only has traces of caffeine, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. Our Choco Nuvo, only traces of caffeine, you don't have to worry about that. But I typically divide my vitamins between breakfast and lunch. That's how I do it. And again, you want to do it at the time that works best. When it comes to things like CoQ10, always great to take it with food because it's better absorbed, or take it with your omega-3s because because omega-3s help it get absorbed even better. But it sounds like you're already doing a great job. But I'll make sure, because that's such an important and frequently asked question, that if we don't have that video, I will record one and do just that, okay?
Thank you so much, Sheila. We
Thank you, Sheila.
appreciate you taking the time. We'll actually head over this way because